Squad is the newest movie that's part of the DC Extended Universe. It's directed by David Ayer, who gave us such movies as Training Day, End of Watch, and it stars Will Smith, Jared Leto, Margaret Robbie, Viola Davis, Joel Kinnaman, Cara Delevingne, Jai Courtney, and a whole bunch of other people whose names I either can't pronounce or can't know off the top of my head, but you know who they are. And in Suicide Squad, Viola Davis plays Amanda Waller, and she recruits a whole bunch of misfit villains that are either locked up and gives them a chance at redemption. And if they take care of this thing that's causing wreck in the city, they get a reduced sentence or possibly freedom. I'm not trying to give away too much of this movie because some of the trailers have been very vague, and it's a very vague plot, so I'm not trying to spoil it for anyone. But that is pretty much the plot of the movie. Is Amanda Waller, she's gathering a whole bunch of villains together to take care of something, and if they disobey her, they die. If they fail the mission, they die. Hence why they're called the Suicide Squad. Now, I was really excited for this movie. In fact, it was probably my most anticipated of the year over Batman v Superman and even Captain America Civil War. And I fucking love Captain America Civil War. But I was mostly excited for this movie because, it was something different. It was pretty much a movie about the villains of this movie. I mean, yeah, we have Batman v Superman, which was something that we have never seen before. And then, of course, Marvel, who doesn't love Marvel. But Suicide Squad, it's just something different, and I've been wanting to see. And especially because of two things. One, the gimmick that we get a new incarnation of the Joker, played by Jared Leto. And this is the first time we see a film incarnation of Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie. When I heard that Margot Robbie was cast as Harley Quinn, instantly I was like, that is genius casting right there. Now, of course, after the failures of Batman v Superman, I was more than really interested in seeing this movie, and hopefully this movie turns it around. And of course, recently, this movie has a 20-something% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and the critics haven't been too kind to this movie, and fans generally like it. But how do I feel about it? I loved this movie. I don't care what the critics say. Batman v Superman was one thing, but Suicide Squad, it was just absolute fun. Now, I'm not saying this is a perfect movie, but I'm just saying this is a way better movie than I think people are giving it credit for. Now let's talk about some of the characters in this movie. Will Smith plays Deadshot in this movie, and Will Smith is definitely back. I loved him in Focus, I loved him in Concussion, and I love him here. I just love Will Smith. He's a very charismatic person, and I loved his backstory in the movie, and it gives his character humanity. Margaret Robbie did a good job of bringing the character of Harley Quinn to life, and they do her backstory in this movie, and I think they handled it perfectly. And for what they had to do in the movie, I was just enjoying it. It was like, yep, I couldn't have done it any better. Jai Courtney was actually good in this movie as Captain Boomerang. Now, I know some people have given Jai Courtney some shit in his time, but Jai Courtney, he works when he's mostly a side character, and he definitely worked in this movie as Captain Boomerang. He was funny when he needed to be funny. He was good when he needed to be good. I think my only gripe about his character is I just wish we got more of him, and I mean more of him as seeing him doing his Captain Boomerang things, The character of El Diablo, he is real badass in this movie, and he's a bit of a pacifist in this movie, but once you see his backstory, you understand why he's so pacifist, and why he doesn't want to do all his fiery things in this movie. When he does it, it is absolutely badass. Killer Croc is played by AAA. He has a name that's hard to pronounce. I'm just going to leave it here, and you tell me you can pronounce it. But for right now, I'm just going to refer to him as Majestic from Get Rich or Die Trying, because that's what I will always remember him by. But anyways, Majestic from Get Rich or Die Trying, he plays Killer Croc, and he doesn't give him much to do in this movie, but for what he's given in this movie, I'd say it was pretty good, and just the makeup and everything, it looked believable. And when he's doing all his Killer Croc stuff, it's mind-blowing. And he was funny in the movie too, and he's a character that he just doesn't give a F, He's just accepted who he is. Like, there's this one scene where Harley Quinn calls him ugly, and then Killer Croc, he's like, I'm not ugly, I'm beautiful. And for the thing everyone is most interested about, Jared Leto as the Joker. I'd say my only gripe about him in this movie is there isn't enough of him in this movie. Because, I guess the point of this movie, it is essentially about the Suicide Squad and not the Joker show. But for how they use the Joker in this movie, I'd say they use him very effectively, and that just gives me more excited to see if they're going to use any more of him and where he's going to be, and I just can't wait to see more of Jared Leto's incarnation of the Joker. And but in this movie, I believe, the chemistry between the Joker and Harley Quinn in this movie, and it translated from the comics to the cartoon to the big screen, and it worked. I really think anyone's fear of the Joker is that he's not the Joker you want to see. Well, that's the thing. You need to go into this movie expecting this to be completely different from the Joker and just appreciating it for what it is. Because every Joker we've had has been different, essentially. And this is a very unique take on the Joker. Viola Davis plays Amanda Waller in, pardon my French, but that is a bad bitch. What I've known Amanda Waller to be is she is a tough bitch that doesn't take no shit from anyone, and she is definitely the boss. And she is definitely the boss in this movie. Though I will say, like, there are some stuff in this movie where it kind of went against the grain of what she's all about and kind of her character. I'm not going to spoil it, but it also kind of has something to do with Rick Flag in the movie. But Amanda Waller, you really believe that she is the boss and she will take out the Suicide Squad if need to be. Joe Kinnaman plays Rick Flag in this movie, and he was okay. I've really known Joe Kinnaman to be playing the new RoboCop, and that's really it. But Joe Kinnaman, I can't really judge his acting abilities, but for what he's giving in this movie, he was really good, and I kind of believe the dynamic between him and Deadshot, you know, they kind of have like this tension relationship between the two of them. Like, Rick Flag, he's not okay with what Deadshot does, but at the same time, Rick Flag, he is kind of a hypocrite in this movie. I'm not going to spoil how he's kind of a hypocrite in the movie. Cara Delevingne plays Enchantress in this movie, and she was fine, but ultimately, I think that was one of my gripes about this movie. She's not getting much to do. But I'm not going to spoil it, because ultimately, I'd say, like, okay, let's be real. Y'all seen this movie already, and y'all know who the villain is. It's Enchantress, alright? And they kind of spoiled it in some of the trailers, I guess. But she's ultimately the villain in this movie, and I'd say that was probably a weak point. And she wasn't all that compelling as a villain, and I wish they could have picked a better one. And from what they saw in the trailers, they made it seem like Joker, he was going to be the villain, and that's really the thing about this movie. They mismarketed who the villain was. They made it seem like the Joker was going to be the villain, and it's really not. It's Enchantress. So yeah, that's really my only negatives about this movie is that, you know, Enchantress as the villain was kind of meh, and I wish there was more Joker in this movie. And not only that, but not all the characters in this movie doesn't really get the screen time that you feel is really needed or deserved. Like Killer Croc or El Diablo, like we get some of El Diablo, but I feel like we could have used a little bit more screen time and backstory with Killer Croc. But other than that, I was really digging this movie, yo. And the soundtrack in this movie is just awesome. Like, they just peppered a whole bunch of pop songs and a couple of songs that I felt like really worked for this movie. Like, there's one Eminem song that just kind of came out of nowhere, but then there's a Rick Ross song that came at the perfect moment, and that song, Sucker for Pain, I'm really digging that song. In the end, Suicide Squad, it was a fun movie. In some cases, I do say that Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, not the theatrical version, is better story-wise than Suicide Squad, but as a fun little action movie, I say Suicide Squad is the better movie, and it was just fun. And I say this movie kind of gives hope for what we can expect going forward with the DC Extended Universe. Oh, and also, like, of course, you know that Batman's in this movie, and the way they peppered him in this movie, I'd say it was perfect, and I felt they used it effectively. And that's another thing, like, the way they pretty much utilize future movies in this movie, I'd say it worked perfectly, and that's ultimately the goal of this movie is, you know, just to get people more excited for the other movies. And this movie was what it needed to be, just a fun little action film with cool characters, fun characters, and characters that you're anticipating seeing more of. And the way they utilize the flashbacks and backstories in this movie, you're really digging them. And I really hope that they make a sequel to this, because I really want to spend more time with these characters. Because of course, you know, you might see Joker and Harley Quinn in the standalone Batman movie. You never know. But Suicide Squad, on its own, I'd say it was a fun little action movie. Screw what the critics say. This was a good movie. I'm going to give Suicide Squad 4 stars for worth money. I do want to do a spoiler review of this movie, but I'll probably do that when this movie comes out on Blu-ray, because, you know, I just don't really have time to film a spoiler review of this movie. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on right now, so be on the lookout for my spoiler review whenever the Blu-ray comes out. That's it for the day. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more, check out my channel. The link is in the description below. And be sure to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Movie Pilot, and Periscope. Peace.